go. So I'm not saying that we become ignorant and don't have science. So I'm talking about how do we convert the unconverted? What does it look like to be a progressive evangelical? And that is to speak to beliefs and values. And I think we're in a situation where healthcare as a right has developed as a fundamental value. That's why we even have the Affordable Care Act, because people think in their gut that there's something wrong about being thrown after your healthcare just because you got sick, right? And so we need to build on that, and that means doing it in an emotional way. So we do a lot of work on trying to figure out, and we're doing it, but it's a work in progress, how to make the healthcare debate more simple and direct and value-based and emotional. What progressives tend to do is to throw all these facts at people, and that doesn't help convert the unconverted. Though we need the facts in order to figure out where to go. So don't get me wrong, we need to have discussions like this, but then we also need to have that other kind of discourse. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, you're talking about a huge portion of the population, the people that I work with, who how do you motivate, how do you activate that many people? And before you can even activate them, you have to convince them that they're right. I mean, they're wrong. They're wrong to vote against their own self-interest. And I can go after one guy at a time, once. And, but, what's that?
Maybe he voted for
hell, because he didn't. And it's a good example of why he didn't, because he doesn't know anything. And all he knows is what I told him. And I wasn't gonna say anything good about Mitt Romney. But I also told him, you know, many times that you have to vote for who you want to vote for. And I believe, I didn't see him fill out the form. I believe he voted maybe the proper way, although that's kind of up in the air.
Can I just respond to your question about, you know, how do we convince people that they're wrong in voting against their self-interest? I would say if you're setting out to convince somebody that they're wrong, you are going to fail.
Right.
Because nobody wants to be told that it's very, very hard to readjust all of those internal cognitive processes that led you to a particular conclusion. And when somebody is coming at you armed with facts, shooting them at you like little bullets, that are all supposed to convince you that you're wrong, your most natural instinct is to reject, the messenger. And so I would say, when you look at these big healthcare issues, maybe I'll give a smaller example. We're working on a bill in Congress right now to provide increased resources for the mental health care system in this country. And when we go in Republican offices, they typically don't want to support it because it costs money. And if you go in there with a message that is about how many people need mental health services and how desperate their lives are if they can't get treatment, and what a horrible thing it is to let so many Americans go without when so many others can get it, that just is not going to get you anywhere in a Republican office. But that's not the only, fortunately for us, that's not the only element of this issue. There are many, many other, it's a multifaceted issue. And so what you have to do is take the side of your issue that matches up with the person who you're trying to persuade, that matches up with their values, and sort of match those together. So in Republican offices, we talk about how there are currently no good standards of care in our mental health care system, and how we're paying for services that are not even necessarily fulfilling what